hosts. Your hosts for this evening, Shaggy.
Who the f*** are you? You nothing. You nothing. You are nothing. And you will never be anything. Never.
Colin.
Anybody know who you are? You miserable, presumptuous, no talent. You obviously don't have the talent.
And Mike, the Ape Man.
You are everything that's gone wrong in this world. You are self-consumed, no talent, mediocre piece of shit.
PTR Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. A week delayed, but still going on. Sorry, but we had important birthday matters to deal with, and anniversary matters to deal with, and states of matter to deal with. I mean, we had a whole debate on whether plasma should be officially recognized as a state of matter or not, much like Pluto. There's some people that don't think that Pluto's a planet, and some people that don't believe that plasma is a state of matter. You know, mostly those flat earthers. So, welcome everybody. If you're not familiar with the show, this is a show with three guys who are all middle-aged, and we talk about whatever comes to our mind, pretty much, you know, whatever we want to talk about. And, you know, we look for you to chime in. You can do that by getting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. You know, we're on all those mediums, and we're broadcasting live. You can chime in with the show, and you can let us know, you know, what you're thinking, if you agree, if you disagree, if you've got something that you really want us to chime in on, you know, if you think we're stupid. You know, we've been told that before. It wouldn't be a surprise if we were told it again, to tell you, to be completely honest. You know, this is your opportunity. If we like your message, Mike will hit the little power button and you'll show up for your 5 seconds of fame. If we don't like your message, Mike will hit the little power button and then you will show up for your 5 seconds of fame, because we don't get that many messages, so we pretty much show them all. All right. Don't pay attention to the phone number on the screen because we don't listen to it during the show. You can always call and leave a voicemail, though. So, yes, you can call and text your messages there. Yeah, we don't listen to it during the show, mostly because I don't go to the trouble of fixing the phone.
That's not what my roll-eye was about, okay? My roll-eye was because my wife knows we went on air at 7 o'clock-ish. Okay, that's a given. When I say we have a show, we're going on the air at 7 o'clock-ish.
Yeah.
She decides at this point to go across the street and talk to the neighbor, which means the dogs are going to stand at the front window barking the entire time. You may not be able to hear it on the stream. I hear it in my good ear.
Well, you may not be able to hear my dogs barking in the living room, but you probably will. Actually, that goes along with something that we can talk about, Mike. All right, so I won't go through all 25 of these, but so I have a men's group that I meet with monthly. This is not on the white sheet. This wasn't anything, but your comment made me think about this, okay? So we are, by the way, if you notice the graphic, it's got roads going everywhere, detour signs. That's what we do. This is the first tangent of the night, which no one is surprised by on the show or anybody that's listening for any length of time. So I belong to a men's group. We meet once a month, all right, because once a week was way too much, so we decided once a month we could actually do. Now, we had, and we worked through this booklet, and this one's about being a good husband, all right? And there were 25 things you can do to be a better husband, all right? And in our little group, we said, pick 3. Pick 3 things on this list that you think you could either do or that you already do. And then we went around the little circle, and we all picked 3. All right?
You're seriously going to do this to me on the air?
No. I'm not going to.
So that it's recorded as evidence?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through some of the things on the list that I think are ridiculous. All right? And some of my responses. All right? And why I didn't choose some things. All right? Number 1. Now, this is easy. We could all do this. Serve your wife breakfast in bed. All right? That's a simple one. Because some of these are really simple. Some of them, really difficult. Mike, if you wanted to, if you really had to drive, you could. The dogs would be up
I was going to say, there are at least 3 dogs and some other assorted animals that would have their way with that.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't cook breakfast for her.
Yeah.
Because, this past week, okay, it's Saturday, had banana and Nutella stuffed peanut butter waffles.
Mm-hmm. In the Stuffler, probably.
I do cook.
Yeah.
Of course.
Number 2. Now you could do this one. Call your wife in the middle of the day just to say, I love you. I will substitute text it. All right. That's very easy. All right. Here's a slightly different one that's I think, at the opposite end of the spectrum as far as things to do that are, so those were easy things to do. Mm-hmm. Lose a marriage fight, let your wife win. That ain't easy to do. I don't care who you are. And I'm not sure that that's helpful.
Huh? Let your wife win?
Yes. As if you have a choice.
As far as I'm concerned, I always let her win as far as I'm concerned. Unless it has to do with something with me writing a check, at which point I have veto power. And that was in our vows, I believe.
All right. Take dancing lessons with your wife.
You're out here. I have a loving mind.
Now, that is much more difficult than texting her during the middle of a random day and saying, I love you. That's a bigger commitment.
The only time that happens, there's 2 times that's going to happen. The first one is going to be before the wedding. If it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen then because you're going to want to make that first dance spectacular.
Yeah.
If not, it's going to be on a milestone anniversary when you're renewing of vows because you need to be spectacle. And listen, vow renewals in the time of COVID, guess what? It's not very much different than what we're broadcasting on Facebook right now. So
you're dancing on
is not
your
even
deck,
an option.
All right. Here's one that should be easy for us. Make your wife laugh. Say and do things that make her laugh. I don't do it intentionally, but it just happens.
She laughs at me because I'm stupid. I know it. And because she tells me, she's like, why are you being stupid?
Criticize your wife less. Compliment her more. Who in the hell is criticizing her? Period. And getting away with it.
Somebody with a hip just... See?
Somebody with brain damage because a frying pan done hit them upside the head. That's who's criticizing their wife. In my world. All right, now this one...
The only ones criticizing their wife are the ones who are already in the middle of a divorce.
Yeah. This one, I said there ain't no damn way. It is physically impossible for me to stop doing this because I cannot always control my eyes. All right? Now, can you guess what this one is? Just by me saying
I'm
that.
sorry. Say that one more time, please.
43 years of life, I can't always keep my eyes looking straight forward. Sometimes they have a mind of their own and do this action just because.
Oh, rolling eyes?
That's it. Detect the one thing you do that most annoys your wife and stop it. I can't. I can't stop it. I can't stop it. You say something stupid, I'm going to roll my eyes because I can't tell you that is a dumb thing you just said.
Listen, depending on the day or what happened, why is Kim annoyed at you today? I woke up. Apparently. I mean, it happens.
Here's one that I was shocked at how many people said, oh yeah, I do this. Shower with your wife. If this was family,
that and I'm like, you joking.
If my meeting was Family Feud, that'd have been the #1 answer on the damn board. And I'm like, look at me. I got to remodel my bathroom first. I ain't got a shower big enough.
So listen, I got to ask this question. What besides questionnaires that eventually could get y'all in trouble? What does a guys group meeting? What do you do? Do you compare notes about cigars and scotch at least or something?
No, this is actually I don't want to go down this path, so I don't want to talk about religion. But it's a church group, and we actually talk about better ways to be a man and raise a family and stuff like that. And but I really like this group. The biblical aspect of it is interesting, all right? But more interesting is just we have a decent group of guys all in different phases of their life. And that's one thing. We started out with like 10 different groups. Ours is the only one still working after 6 years. We are all still meeting every month after 6 years. And it's like ridiculous because we've got people that are just newly married. And I think his wife's pregnant now. But when he first started the group, he was single. We've got guys with kids in their, late single digits, so 8, 9. We've got people. We've got a guy with kids in their teens, early teens. We've got me with young grandkids. We've got an older guy who you would think of as a grandpa, and so you've got all these retirees. So you've got this group of like 12 guys, all in different stages of their life, and so we can kind of give each other advice on how to handle the different situations. And it's weird because it works. It's this little support group of ours that we listen to each other's problems, which is why I won't go into a big amount of detail on anything because it's all done in privacy. It's, and we help each other out. We're just there for each other. It's an interesting support group. So, but no, every once in a while we get on some crazy stuff like this, and it's like, like one of the things we talked about was here. One of these is set a weekly date night, rotate going out and staying in. And we said that is an absurd thing to do because unless you don't have kids, you can't afford a weekly date night. And especially in the time of COVID, you can't, so one of the guys like, well, we do it monthly. And I'm like, okay, well, that is a good compromise, I guess. But, we all talked about when you have kids, you can't do a weekly date night. You can't hire a sitter at the price of sitters and then go afford a dinner unless your dinner's at McDonald's or Taco Bell where everything's $1. I mean, sitters are sometimes $50 an hour. So, but yeah, just like on this show where we rip apart lists, that's what we do in this men's group.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, it happened to be on my desk. You talked about, Kim and annoying her. And so that kind of bridged the gap in my mind. Now, Mike, you are involved in a major undertaking at your house. So I would imagine that stress is fairly high there.
So, yeah. So it's kind of funny because we're getting a sidewalk or a walkway in the backyard replaced. Mm-hmm. I started it, let's see, we've been in the house 13 years. I started a walkway probably 11 years ago. And it was referred to as the boardwalk because it was basically, put down 6x6 weepers and make a wooden walkway. Mm-hmm. And it only got about halfway through the yard because I realized this is a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. And so we finally got concrete being poured. It was supposed to start last week. Or I'm sorry, the week before. Yeah, last week. Guy calls us up on Sunday night after we move everything. Tell us he's not going to be there this week because he forgot that 2 of his guys are on vacation, and so he can't do it. Sunday, so okay, fine. Following Sunday, which was this past week, we're like, well, I guess he's waiting to see if the guys are coming back because he didn't call us to tell us he was coming. 7:30 this morning.
How does he forget his guys are on vacation?
Well, legano, niligano. You're not sure. So, 7:30, the dogs start barking, and I'm like, who the hell, what, are the kids back at school or something? What are they barking at? I get out of bed, and I'm in a fog. Kim's getting ready for work. I'm like, I'm going to smack these dogs in the ass. As soon as I get out there, I look, they're not on the couch. They're barking at the back. Oh, this is weird. I look, there's the concrete guy in my backyard, 7:30 this morning. Didn't know he was coming. I go, boy. Now, unfortunately, this also creates more work for me because one of my gutters, I now have, it's a 12-foot drain in what was part of the patio because the whole yard slopes that way, and I have to dig the trench to pipe it out into a dry well that I have to dig. So yeah, a lot of damn work. But now here's the problem: 3 dogs, only one of them will pee on a leash, and the concrete work is basically taking away both entrances to the backyard. Luckily, we have the dog run, but I have to carry the 40-pound dog out and in because he's afraid of the steps, the side porch.
My God. So my beagle now, okay, now she's 14. We stain the deck, and I stain the stairs, and it is, I guess it's a darker, well, I know it's darker because it's actually like stained now than what the wood was before. I guess she can't tell the steps are there. She can't like see them anymore. I don't know if it's just her eyesight or her age or whatever it is, but like she is apprehensive about going up the stairs. Down, not a problem, but up is an issue. She's very apprehensive about it, and sometimes she falls up the stairs and like face plants on the top of the deck. And so I'm trying to figure out, because I really get annoyed having to basically push her up the stairs because she doesn't like to be carried. You know, what am I going to do? I had a thought. Now, being a dog guy, I want you to tell me whether this is going to work or not. So I don't know if you've ever done any duct work before or not, but you know that metal reflective tape. It's actual duct tape, not duct tape. Right? It's
the foil tape.
The foil tape, right? I thought about taking the foil tape, because I've got some extra, and putting it on the front leading edge corners of the stairs so that it would create a reflective surface that she would be able to see.
Let me ask this question. Are the stairs basically you have it open and you have the stringers, so there's nothing?
No, they're solid.
Are they open in the back? They are solid.
They're 6x6 posts that I stacked like they were railroad ties.
Oh, okay.
Because I have big people in my family, and I didn't want them to fall through steps. So it is a solid chunk of wood. Like one has like 2 steps, well 3 if you count the one up to the deck. The other one has like 5 going down, and she refuses to go down that one.
All right, because my first thought would have been try just putting a light colored board on the backing. Mm-hmm. This way, I think part of the reason why my dogs don't like the side steps is because they're open in the back.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a staircase where you have a solid.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, you got a tread and then you got a riser. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't go with the foil tape, because honestly, I think that might look a little cheesy. Before I do that, I would go on Amazon and see if you can get some like wood grain printed vinyl. Not like shelf paper, but like vinyl, like they would use to wrap cars with. I would go and get that in a lighter color and put that as a test to see if that does help. If it does, then maybe you can just kind of I don't know, maybe just sand down the faces and do the steps a little lighter. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tough call.
Yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, am I going to have to get to the point where I build her a ramp and we put like white, fake grass on it?
Ramps are always a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The doggy chute. What are you drinking? That's a little glass.
So this was Writer's Tears, Irish whiskey.
Okay.
So it's gone now. It was 3/4 of the way full though. But this is a proper whiskey glass, man. Okay,
that's fair. I was just curious.
Yep.
Because yours is almost. I noticed it's almost gone. That's why I asked.
Yeah. But I got Mountain Dew left as well.
I'm not even close to gone. I'm drinking a shot of Crown Royal Apple with the rest was sweet tea vodka.
So my my grandson,
I'm sleeping tonight.
My oldest grandson just turned 21, and he has decided that he's not a big drinker, but he's decided he's going to try several different things to figure out if there is anything that he likes.
Okay.
He does not like beer, period, which good for him, because that's...
Nobody does. Go ahead.
Yeah. He bought a bottle of Crown Royal Apple, and he goes, it's okay if you put like this much in a Coke or in something that's already apple flavored. He goes, because then it's
flavored
okay.
Coke. What?
Or like apple juice or whatever, or even apple cider beer.
Tell him to try it in ginger ale.
Okay, I'll tell him in ginger ale. But he's like,
it's
so little it really doesn't even count.
It's like cream soda.
Yeah. So, but so he's trying different things, and I'm like, well, that's good. Just don't try to be like your dad and a professional.
Nobody starts out a professional. Remember that.
I think his dad and his uncle did. They are quite the professionals. They took my daughter out for her 21st, and I'm like, do not try to keep up with them. They have been doing this for years. They do not have college educations, but they have degrees in drinking. And that's why I'm just to the point now. You get to the point. You notice you get to the point when you get older where you're like, it's not worth the following morning. It's just, I don't think anybody past 40 that has a brain has going out just to get effed up. I don't think that's ever been uttered by somebody who has a decent career. Somebody who still works at, McDonald's at 40, maybe. But I don't think anybody that's responsible has ever said that after the age of 40.
Fair enough. I would agree.
I'm not saying it doesn't accidentally happen sometimes.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it accidentally happens. You've been, sitting at the bar chatting for a while, and then you stand up and you go, ooh, that was worse than I thought it was going to be.
Look, there's a reason why you always go to the bathroom right before last call.
Mm-hmm. It's to evaluate.
That's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, maybe I am more than a amateur at this.
Wise before your years, Mike.
All right, so listen, I got. So we were talking about annoying my wife, and
yeah, let's get back to that topic. That's always fun. How else could we do that?
She's pretty annoyed with you, Shag.
Why? What'd I do? I haven't done anything.
So, for those who have watched for a couple of weeks, have been following us for at least a month or so, maybe two, there was an idea tossed around about doing some kind of corroborative or online gaming thing where we compete against each other and we stream. And Shaggy mentioned this game called Dirt 4.
Yeah, because we stream on Twitch. We stream the show on Twitch. And I said, realistically, we probably should game at least once if we're going to be on Twitch.
Yeah. So,
if nothing else, we're going to make Colin play Cubert in the lower right-hand corner. That's what's going to happen one of these days.
So last show, I mentioned to Shaggy that, I got, or maybe it was 2 shows ago, I said to Shaggy, I got the cheap controller off of Amazon. So, okay, we're gonna. Yeah, that did not bode well for.
Buying a cheap controller didn't bode well?
No, Mr. Shaggy. Not only did I have an issue with the cheap controller, I started to enjoy the game a little too much. So this happened.
Next, you're going to take the camera out into your main basement, and there's going to be like a full cockpit setup, isn't there?
Now I'm pissed off because every time I get myself set up, because I have the corner desk here, so I found the wheel doesn't clamp to my main monitor very well because of the keyboard shelf, but it clamps perfectly in the corner, so it goes on that monitor there, I got the pedals down here. The problem is when I get all set up where I'm nice and good and not rolling, I go to push the pedals and I roll back. So now I'm trying to figure out how to stop my chair from rolling. And this is why she's mad at you. Because this all started from one of your stupid ass ideas, and now I'm obsessing over this. I'm driving these carts, I'm cursing at it. I got up for no damn reason at like 5:30 the one morning. I got up. I said, well, I'm going to go downstairs and play my game before work. She goes, you're freaking kidding me, right? I said, no, well, I'm up. I'm not going back to sleep.
It's probably about the same look I got, because my wife one night, she's like, well, what are you doing after work? I'm like, I kind of want to play my game. Kind of like a little kid. And she's like, okay. If you want to go play your game, I guess that's okay. I'm like, come on. I haven't played it in like a week. I just want to, she's not home tonight. That's why I'm yelling. I'm like, come on. I just want to, I got to pass this stage.
Here's the other thing. You hear me cursing at these son of a bitch. You don't want me to win a championship, so you spin me out right off the start. Okay, fine. Restart. Show you. Got to get out in front. I can't in the corner. Don't you put me in the wall. Okay, restart. I hate you. Stupid little dirt go-kart things. The super carts. The minute you let off the gas, they decide they want to spin out.
What do you mean I got to take a frickin' Joker lap? I don't want to do that right now. I'm in the lead.
Forget it. Go ahead. Please, interrupt me, please.
I did try that Dirt Rally 2. And
it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be one of the best games ever, by the way. You look on YouTube. Okay. It's like, this is the best Dirt Rally game ever. It beats all the other ones.
No. So, Dirt Rally 2.0, apparently, I've read up about this. And yes, I did buy it because it was part of a bundle that I was like, okay, whatever. What else was in that bundle? I don't even remember. I have to go look, but I think there was something about, there was like a Battlestar Galactica. There was like the Star Trek one, right? So I bought that bundle. And anyway, Dirt 2.0, I'm looking up how to tweak this wheel a little bit. And people are talking about Dirt 2, Dirt Rally 2. There's enough settings in Dirt 4 as far as like spring rate, dampers, toe angle, camber, all that. The front braking force, differential lock. Apparently in Dirt Rally 2, you can go down to individual tire pressures. I don't need. I'm pissed off.
I just race the damn car the way it comes. I don't even mess with it.
I'm pissed off in my real truck that it actually tells me the temperature I'm setting to. I don't need temperature. I need the little blue and red dial. Okay, I need it sort of warm. I need it hot. I need it all the way hot. I need it all the way cold. I don't want to pick a temperature. And I don't want to sit there and play with a stupid toggle switch to get to a temperature. I don't want to pick out tire pressures in my damn car. It's bad enough I hired a new chief engineer, and apparently not realizing now I got a different voice telling me what to do. You need to take the Joker lap. Joker. I'm already past the Joker turn. Why are you telling me to take the Joker this lap?
Yeah, you only got to take it once.
I just did it. I was like, okay, I'll play this, go try this. And I'm like, why does anybody find this fun? I'm driving this car in a ditch on top of a mountain that is slightly wider than the car is. If I push the accelerator, the car blows up. Like, why is anybody playing this?
Because it's fun and you don't get lost in a 3D world. All right. If you go the wrong way, they tell you penalty. You're going the wrong way, and so you can turn around and go the right way.
There's no place to go. The ditch is only a one-way ditch.
I know. It's the best part.
And there's these rocks. They're sticking out of the walls. If the car is not directly down the middle, if I am off by an inch, then the car spins around because it hits a little
Yep.
rock that's sticking out. I'm just like, what is this?
Their skill.
Okay, but in Dirt 4, you have the Land Rush series, which is like the Baja trucks.
Yeah. I haven't played those
I
yet.
haven't tried
Circuit.
Dirt 4. I'm sure that's going to be a lot more fun. I'm just saying Dirt Rally 2 is like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
I haven't.
if it even had like a single tutorial level of telling you what the heck you're doing, I would have been happier.
Oh, no. It
But
actually.
no, it's,
Everything
"Hi,
I read said.
welcome to the game. You're on top of a mountain. Race."
Everything I've read said Dirt
Yeah.
Rally 2 is for experts only. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
Just start with Dirt 4. Dirt 4 is like beginner.
Okay.
So, yeah, no. And I don't get Dirt 5. Dirt 5, I haven't even played yet, but I watched some videos, and it's like, this is closer to Dirt Rally 2 than it is to Dirt 4. And I really like Dirt 4. But yeah, no, I've added a wheel and a set of pedals to my Amazon wish list for my birthday, but I'm still playing with the controller.
I got
so.
Listen, I got the cheapest wheel I could, and I'm going to tell you, I got it at Best Buy only because I had rewards bucks. So
Yeah.
I wound up paying like $35 for this wheel and pedals.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to pay more for this Flight of Fancy. I'm not going to pay more than $100 for a wheel. And I prefer just to get it given to me.
If you go to fanatec.com,
Yep.
okay, they make the wheels
Oh yeah.
and the pedals and all that stuff that the NASCAR guys use in their simulators. So I went out and priced a beginner level with them just to see. And it came out at $2,300 for just the wheel, shifter, pedals, and e-brake.
Oh yeah.
Not even anything to mount them to, not even a seat. This is all just controller.
Yeah, because that's like the direct drive where you can get like 7 G's worth of feedback. Yeah, I've watched things with them, so yeah. But no, I was looking at which ones was I looking at? I was looking at I think it was a G-Force one, but I was comparing a bunch of them, and it's like, okay, if you're just a beginner, then here's what you should have. And I'm like, okay, well, I want the beginner ones because I like beginner stuff that isn't. The Logitech G29 is what I was looking at. So it's $236. So it's a bit more than what I wanted to pay, really. But it's supposed to be like one of the best entry levels. And technically it is an entry level. But it's got your feedback, it's got, everything that you need. And it's supposedly got, the only downside is the pedals, I guess, aren't the best in the world, but there's a couple of hacks for them that make them better. But yep, the G29. So
Yeah, so the one, yeah, see, they don't even, oh no, they still have it. So the one that I got from Best Buy, and I saw cheaper ones on Amazon. Right?
Makes me wish I still had the one from my ColecoVision,
So listen, we know how that went, all right?
Yeah.
Because I got rid of my wheel and I probably would have liked that wheel a lot better. The nice thing about this one that I got,
yeah,
okay, it's only $70 from Best Buy.
oh yeah,
Which is not terrible, right? It's basic. It does the job. But the thing I liked about it was it has like a bungee cord system so that when you let go, it returns to center.
to center. Yeah, that is
Which
that is
my
very
old one
important.
did not do.
Yeah, it is very important. Like the G29 does return
So-
to center as well, and the G29's got the clutch pedal, which is nice.
I can care less about a clutch.
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
care about the clutch.
It's not terribly important, but some people say that they map the clutch pedal to the handbrake, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it does help you.
See, I would. Yeah, I guess if you're driving, if you're driving manual, you could. Most of them you can do clutchless. Because most wheels are like that. I guess. Yeah, I could see where that would be cool, but I haven't used my handbrake. I don't use my handbrake when I drive.
Yeah.
The hell with that.
But yeah. So it is.
I get so mad though. Oh God, I get so mad. Like, I'm running a perfect lap. Great, wonderful. Get to the last corner and spin out and thinking, oh, Shaggy be so proud. Oh my God, oh my God. The horror. I'm crashing.
Have you hit any spectators yet? Because I have. You get a 20-second penalty.
Do you really?
I'm like,
oh no, I haven't.
For killing four
wait,
people. I'm like, for killing 4 people, it only cost me 20 seconds. That's pretty good.
You know what? I'm not doing. I haven't really done other than like the very beginning. I haven't done any of the actual like rallies.
Yeah.
I did the first rally course, and I didn't hit any spectators. But right after that, I said, nope, I'm going to Land Rush. I want laps. I want, and that's when you get mad. Like on these rally courses, you're the only one out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's you against the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
On all of these other ones, you got these AI. I found myself cursed. I'm like, okay, Steve Del Rio, I'm gonna put you in a freaking wall.
Yeah. So I just, man, I killed spectators one time. A couple other times, it's like cross the finish line, then flip the car. Well, at least I finished first, so I confirmed my time.
So to circle back to how we all started with this, yeah, she's mad at you because this was all your big ass idea.
Well, you got to get her involved. You got to build her a gaming PC, and you got to
out of your ever loving mind.
Well, see, that's part of the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my machine so that I then can set up my TV on the other side of the wall, and I'm going to use Xbox controllers so that then I can do when the kids come over, we can play Rally in the living room on the big TV. I think that'll be cool.
Now, see, if I had, I don't know if because down here, why you get me thinking like this? No, I'm not going to do this because on the other side of this door,
there's a TV, if I remember right,
is the 50-inch plasma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how plasmas are for gaming. Maybe not with surround sound.
Yeah. Oh, set yourself up they've got a little. It's a collapsible little, like $100 setup. You just pull a chair up to it. You take your office chair out there. It's basically like a TV tray for your racing wheel and your pedals.
No. I don't want I don't. If I'm doing that, I'm not taking my office chair because the office chair rolls.
Okay. Well, you could just take a regular chair then.
I was about ready.
You just need a seat.
I kid you not. Kim, was it last weekend or the weekend before? She's like, I don't feel so good. I'm going to go lay down. Okay, honey. In my mind, perfect. I could go game. I almost popped the damn wheels off the bottom of my chair to keep it from rolling. That's how mad I was.
You need to get some lockable roller skate wheels.
I mean, I started putting boxes behind me.
Oh, just set the wheels in a box. That'll keep it rolling. Just grab a couple of cardboard boxes and just pop your chair in them. They won't go anywhere.
I never had this problem before because I used to have the carpet down here, and I had the chair mat, which we've talked about this, so I had the divots, So you work around that. So I duct taped the damn pedals down to the chair mat based on where the chair was.
Yeah. There, I just sent you a link in Slack of what you need. It's the Logitech racing wheel stand. So it's a place to mount your wheel.
No. I don't need a drum throne. The problem is there's no back to the drum throne. I need...
No, she has a drum throne with a back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, that's possible. That's a possibility. Because then I can easily just like put it in the corner, and when I'm not playing, and when I'm playing, I slide the chair out and put that. That's not a bad idea.
Yep.
My wife would say a folding chair that we have in the garage would accomplish the same.
With a decent padding, though, I would recommend a good pad.
Some kind of padding. I agree.
Colin and I used to sit in folding chairs during the radio show, and they all needed padding. So we remember those days.
Side note, but semi-related. Something popped up in my Instagram feed as an ad, and it was a work from home desk, right? So but everything was mounted, and you push a button, and everything moves. So like you go completely flat out, and the monitor pivots up, and the keyboard comes up like this. So you're laying back while it's and everything. I said to Kim, I said, we move, I need that. I gotta have that.
Razer made it, I think. I think Razer made it.
I need that. And then I looked it up. $14,000. I don't need that. I will take that money and build a kick-ass racing sim at this point. At which point she said, "Fuck you, Shaggy. I hate Shaggy. I'm gonna kick his ass." So I deflected. You see what happened there, right?
Yes. I thought Razer.
My cousin's telling me I look like I have a mohawk. Yeah, well, I didn't, because I didn't do anything with my hair and the lighting, Yeah, I don't have a mohawk. Trust me.
And he pities the fool who says he has a mohawk.
Well, he bald, so whatever.
Oh.
I'm gonna grow it out eventually again, and in the winter I'm gonna grow all this out again. Don't tell my wife, but yeah, I'm gonna grow it out. We need to move on. We got something else. What can we talk about here?
I was trying to find the desk, because I know Razer made a desk at one point. Hell, they make everything else. They made masks.
Listen, Razer could put their name on a turd and charge $100, and gamers are still going to buy it. I don't get it.
But I don't find it. It's crazy. All right, but let's get to something on our list. Maybe.
Okay, fine. We can get to something without. So, I sent an article. It's 5 games that are perfect for beginners. 5 racing games.
5 racing games. Yep.
So,
and this kind of goes towards what we were talking about.
How this is going to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, actually, it's 5 great for beginners, 5 great
for beginners,
for the pros.
and 5 for pros.
So number 10 for the beginners, Gran Turismo Sport. All right. Now this is obviously track racing.
I'm sorry, I just scrolled through because I was like, okay, this is perfect. Go ahead. Gran Turismo Sport,
It is track racing. All right. So in my mind, track racing is a little boring. It just is.
It is, unless you have good people you're competing against.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a situation where it's like pay to play, I don't like those kind of games. If you're in a situation where everybody is on equal footing and it's about you're competing against a person, not what they that's when I can enjoy it. But
yeah.
And Gran Turismo was my first foray on PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Gran Turismo was my first foray with all of those tunable setups, like Colin was like we were talking about with Dirt. I will never forget that I tried to adjust transmission shift points and stuff on one, and I took a Bugatti supercar and maxed out the top speed at 75 miles an hour in 6th gear because I didn't know what the hell I was doing with the transmission.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 9 for the pros is R Factor 2, which looks like it's like an F3 racing game. I don't think those aren't F1 cars, but they're they are Formula cars.
And it looks like they've got some F1, but this apparently was what the sim they did for a virtual 24 hours of Le Mans last year during COVID. This is what they used because it was that realistic.
Now, number 8, this is an extremely popular title, Forza Motorsport 7. So the Forza, line has been extremely popular. and this is again for beginners. It's Xbox's answer to Gran Turismo, and yeah, I mean there's a lot of tracks, there's a lot of cars, and I have heard a lot about this title. So
yes,
Forza,
I don't know if this is available for I guess it is if it's Microsoft and Xbox. I guess you can get it for PC. So that's
the next
number
one,
7 for pros.
I've never heard of Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Let's just say if your title is in Italian, chances are we are not even going to touch you. So let's just move past it.
It better have the credentials for the Italian. Next one, for beginners, Project Cars 2. Now, I have Project Cars, but I don't have the sequel. So it said it's a step closer to being a serious simulation racing platform. So
okay, Project Cars. Well, for beginners, I guess I've seen that in some bundles. It's I'd consider it.
Yeah. Number 5 for pros, iRacing.
Okay. iRacing is actually what the official NASCAR e-racing simulator. So this is what they did during COVID. This is where they had the Pro Invitational. They have an iRacing league. It's so this is what the professional NASCAR drivers, the Cup drivers, use to practice on a track when
they took
they
laser
have downtime or
scans.
whatever.
They took laser scans of the tracks. It's highly correct. Next one, for beginners, F1 2020. I think I have F1 2019 that I got in one of my bundles. But if you're into Formula One, this is probably the one for you if you're a beginner. Next one for pros, Race Room. It's a relatively old game from 2013, but it's still evidently one of the better sim racing games. So
okay,
yeah.
But this is one of those games where the way it's set up, you kind of need to pay to play.
Yeah.
So if you get to a point where if you want to really compete, you actually have to spend real money.
Yeah. Next one for beginners, WRC 9. Now I have WRC 7, and I have not had a chance to play it yet. This is another World Rally Championship type game. Features rallies in Kenya, New Zealand, and Japan.
So this is very much a game where you could be put at the top of a mountain with no other cars and said, go race.
Yes.
So, but,
now,
oh my God.
Number 1, to Colin's point, for pros, Dirt Rally 2.0. As they say, inexperienced drivers will have a hard time figuring out this game, as one mistake could land you in a ditch and unable to continue competing in the rally. As Dirt Rally 2.0 simply is the most realistic rally game available today.
So let's just say that the one mistake is apparently hitting the gas. According to Colin. As soon as you hit the gas, you're in a ditch.
As Joshua would say, the only winning move is not to play.
Yes.
But yeah, I was really surprised.
Really appealed to me.
I was really surprised that none of the other Dirt ones were on there. Because
they probably didn't want to show favoritism to the franchise.
Yeah, just have one title on there. So, but yeah, it was it's really fun to play those. I really like it. So anyway, yeah, we'll definitely have to get those out there sometime and do a show for everybody where we really drive that stuff. So, all right. Other stuff in the news.
This one, I love this one. So, YouTube. First, we've talked about the whole YouTube, Instagram celebrity phenomenon. Like, how the hell do people make money just being on YouTube and Instagram and what have you? So this couple, who they were under fire. They're YouTube stars. Let's let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
They were under fire because they had their dog put down after their dog bit their son. I didn't go looking into that because, well, it would anger me severely. But a video surfaced because they canceled the adoption of their baby boy because there was a rule in the adoption contract saying that they could not post anything on social media about the baby for X amount of time. They couldn't post pictures. They couldn't post. I forget whether it was a year or 2 years. And they said, well, we're not going to do that. This is our living. We can't do that, so we're not going to adopt this child.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they really even knew the child. It's not like they met him or anything.
I don't know if they did or not.
No, they were going through. They were still working through the paperwork to get accepted in the first place.
Okay. So they canceled before. Okay, so they hadn't even gotten to the point where they actually met the actual child that they were going to adopt. They were in.
That was my understanding.
Okay, so that which I kind of that makes it a little better, but the sentiment there. How do we even know that they may not have even gone through all of that? This could have all been a publicity thing at this point.
And then I think another year or two later, then they actually, I think they ended up actually having a child naturally, if I remember correctly, reading the article.
That just tells me that karma does not exist, because these people, if karma existed, her vagina would have caught fire.
Now, what's interesting is, so this wasn't a U.S. adoption. This was an adoption, an overseas adoption.
Yes.
And that doesn't surprise me, because I have only known a few couples, like personally, that have adopted.
And why? Is that because we're so?
Overseas.
Why is that? Is that because we're so darn good at placing children with families that we just don't have any? I mean, are all the orphanages just empty? I mean, is America just the best at this? Can we just finally declare winning on this one thing? I mean, you
want the truth? It's because it's cheaper.
No, that can't be it, Mike. We have to be the best. We're the biggest. We're the best. We've solved this problem, evidently. It can't be that reason, Mike.
We are the absolute best. The best at adoption. Amazing. We have the greatest adoption agents. They're huge. They're wonderful. And we have solved. I know more about this than the generals, and it's true.
So because this is what
babies.
This is what gets me, and I'm saying this from a point of my aunt adopted her son from India, so I'm getting this from a little bit of a point of kind of close to home, right? So why is it so damn hard, and why is it so damn expensive to adopt a child here in the U.S.? We have plenty of them.
I agree.
All right. If you're willing to give somebody a home, and take on the responsibility, why the hell aren't we putting kids in there? If they're going to be YouTube sensations, I don't care. It's one less that, the adoption service has to deal with and that the government has to subsidize.
It's fair.
So I guess that's my perspective on this is why. I know it's cheaper in other countries, but I'll tell you what, the other countries don't always treat Americans so well in the adoption process. I will tell you that my aunt spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to adopt her son. And then when she got there to pick him up, was shook down for like another $5,000 before she could leave with him. So now it may seem cheaper, but it's not easier.
The one couple I know, they adopted from Russia, and this was back in the early 90s. So things were quite different, and I remember him telling me, you go to the orphanage, and like they send you a videotape, a VCR videotape, VHS tape of the children. Like you saw, it was almost like an old school dating service where you saw the kids on VHS, and then when you go there, it's just cribs upon cribs. It looks like an army barracks, but it's just cribs, right? He said it's ridiculous. But their adoption process that way was so much smoother than trying to adopt in the U.S., which is stupid. Yeah, it's absolutely stupid.
I've worked with people who have done the same thing. I worked with a couple who ended up going to China to adopt 2 boys because they couldn't have kids of their own and they wanted a family. And so, yeah, you know, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why can't this should be the simplest thing in the world? Have a child, have parents who want child but can't have their own. Give child to parents. So, fine. So make sure not axe murderers or child molesters first. All right.
So I do kind of have a theory.
And I think, give child to parents.
So, all right. So my cousin's saying here, you know, people want babies close to newborn. Yeah. So
we got plenty of them.
It's kind of like puppies, right? Like puppies and kittens. People always want the puppies and kittens, not the older dogs.
Right, but we're not adopting out of.
It's the same thing with the baby.
We're not adopting out of senior citizen homes, though. I mean,
no, I agree.
It would be great if we could, though. Hey, Gramps is a bit senile. Let's give him to a new couple. But you know,
like I kind of get it that the longer a child is in the system, the harder it is to find them a home.
100%.
If you want to be a parent, you want to be part of those formative years. So I get that. I do. But that being said, I do think that there's a big issue here as far as like the insurance companies. And maybe I'm getting a little too conspiracy theory here, but they want you to like jump through hoops before you get approved. It's kind of the same thinking. Like you have to do test A, B, and C before you can do test D, which you know is going to provide the result, which in the end would have been cheaper if you just jumped right to D.
Well,
right?
I mean, and here's the thing. If people want young kids, if the people want babies, make it easier to adopt, because making it harder to adopt from the U.S. does not make the kids any younger when they finally get adopted, right? Right. If it's difficult to adopt, it's only going to make the kids older when they finally get adopted. You know, maybe they wouldn't be 10 and 12 years old if we made it a little bit easier to adopt them when they were younger, and we wouldn't have this surplus created.
Fair enough.
And you know, and we're not even going to get into the sex education component of this. You know, maybe don't have the babies in the first damn place.
Dude, New Jersey, they just decided that part of the kindergarten or first grade curriculum, they're going to teach the kids sex ed and teach them about masturbation and anal sex
in kindergarten.
It's it's part of like the grade school. I was like, what?
You barely show them the doll and say where not to touch at that age.
I said, are you kidding me?
I got a grandson. He's going to preschool. I can barely keep him from touching his own wiener. All right? What? I mean, the kid's infatuated with it already. We don't need to teach him how to do anything else.
But what? How are you going to teach him about masturbation?
I surely hope it isn't show and tell.
Is it hands-on? Yeah, is it hands-on class? No. Don't demonstrate. No.
Hell, we didn't get that till 5th grade. Kids today got everything. Yeah,
apparently.
Girls got boobies in middle school.
The state went and put that into the curriculum, and like parents, it's up to the districts whether to adopt that part of the curriculum or not. So it's optional, and the parents are going ballistic, man. It's one of the few reasons I'm glad I'm still part of these town groups, because I am absolutely.
Oh man.
Okay, so listen. Yes, in New Jersey, yes, there are transsexuals that are giving classes, that are teaching. I don't care about that.
They're not giving
truly
classes
do
on
not.
how to be transsexual, I don't think.
No, I truly do not care if you are transsexual. I'll be the first to admit. Listen, this whole Elliot Page thing, I'm going to be the first to admit it. I don't get it. I'm not sure how to act. Like if I met Elliot Page now, I would not know how to react to him, knowing that I had a crush on him when he was a she, way back in the day.
Well, considering our shortage of teachers right now, I don't care who gets in front of the class. All right?
As long as they're not, look, if they're up there teaching history, okay? They're teaching about, I don't care who it is. If they're following a curriculum and they're talking about Washington crossing the Delaware, I don't think there's a way you're going to twist that particular topic to push an agenda.
Well, Washington was a wig. You know who else wears wigs? RuPaul. I mean, is that what you're gonna break out into? I don't know.
And so this is a fair point. It does seem that the youth of today, and I blame the internet.
Well, okay, let's take this in context, though. Okay, everybody says that.
The youth of today are maturing faster. They know about things earlier than I did when I was a kid.
Okay, but take that back to your parents. Your parents knew about things faster than your grandparents. And your grandparents
Is this like
learned about things faster than their parents. Every generation successively, is maturing faster than the previous generation.
But I believe that curve is logarithmic.
It may be a different, trend, all right? But we cannot say, I think it's false to say the statement just outright, all right? Because it's trying to paint history with too rosy of a picture, all right?
What do you mean?
I just think, and it's also taking a really wide scope. As I told Colin from time to time, him and I grew up in completely different households, all right?
True.
Right. I love Colin's parents. All right, they're great. They're saints. All right. I can't expect. I don't expect that his parents and my parents would have had a ton in common. And definitely different ways of growing up. All right, Colin. When you were 12, we all had cabinets that contained VHS cassettes, right? We all had that cabinet, right? What were the majority of your VHS cassettes? Or what portion of the VHS cabinet do you remember the most?
12.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
Well, okay,
what
let
was
me ask you.
I do not remember.
Because I remember.
Let me ask it a different way. No. Let me ask it a different way.
Okay, go ahead.
What were the majority of all the movies in the cabinet? What was the highest percentage of rating? Like what rating had the highest percentage of movies in your cabinet?
I don't know what percentage there are. I do know that we had some of everything.
Were most of them G, PG, maybe some PG-13 for a little bit of raciness?
There were some, a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, did you have a bottom right hand, like 2 stacks that you weren't allowed to put in the player on the door? Okay, because I did.
No.
Well, let's put it this way. I wasn't allowed to put them in the player when my parents were home, all right, because they had titles like Deep Throat and, Debbie Does Blank, all right? So those were the ones.
She got around.
Yeah, and T's for Two, and those are what I had in the video cabinet that I remember most. Those were opposite of Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds, Silver Streak, all the other ones which were like NC-17 or R for nudity and comedy. I mean, we've talked about it before. Boob comedies were huge at my house, right? So those were those were ours. Plus, and we got a text that said didn't even have a VHS when he was a kid. Well, we had two because we needed to, steal tapes, so we would rent them and then duplicate them. So that was part of my growing up as well. Seriously doubt that was part of the Blair household. So, yeah.
No, the raciest we got is that one of my sisters decided to do a marathon of watching Rocky Horror over and over again.
Yeah, no,
that when I was my junior and senior year of high school, they had the Rocky Horror like every Friday or Saturday night at one of the movie theaters, and there was a whole crew that actually like went there and acted it out in front of the screen. And man, listen, y'all were just barely above the D&D guys, because and looking back, like I get D&D now, but back then my attitude was different. All right, like because I was a hockey player, even though I didn't play for my school. I was a jock, and I looked down on everybody, and I realized now I was the idiot, because chances are every one of them had a better chance of making a career out of what they were doing than I had of making a career out of hockey. That being said, the reason that the Rocky Horror folks were above the D&D folks is they dressed up in costume.
Yeah, they were LARPing before it was a thing.
Well, LARP, yes. I was going to say LARPing kind of fits right in there. And some of their costumes were hot. Okay,
scandalous.
Can we just say it?
Scandalous.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. No, I mean, it was just...
You don't see that kind of stuff at a Ren Fair. That's all I'm saying.
Well, sometimes you see it pouring out of the top at a Ren Fair, but,
that's only because that corset is...
My daughter is trying to get her boyfriend to go to a Ren Fair. And I said, well, just explain to him that there's beer wenches at the Ren Fair and what they look like. So I said, tell him he could dress up as Doctor Who or one of the characters from Star Trek. I'm like, there's always one of them.
Do you want a fez? I got a fez you can borrow if you want to be that doctor.
So. There's a website that'll sell you Sherlock, Sherlock's wool jacket.
So, all right. So yeah, let's see here. What else do we got?
Well,
okay. I'm trying to think of what we want to go to here.
Because I really don't want. So let's talk about, since we haven't talked movies, let's talk about this deal, because I'm curious about what your thoughts on this one are.
The Amazon one.
The Amazon one.
Yeah. So Amazon.
I had to look it up to see what exactly was included with that, but Amazon is buying MGM Studios for almost $8.5 billion, just shy of $8.5 billion.
Mm-hmm. A lot of money.
And the first thought that I had.
Yeah, no.
Well, the first thought that I had was, well, damn, does that still include the casino in Vegas? Because an Amazon casino might be a cool destination, but no, it does not. So, Amazon Casino, they're selling a prime rib down there for a prime rib dinner for $9.99. Well, guess what? We've got it for $9.49. Okay. Everything in Vegas just got cheaper if Amazon owns a casino.
And shipped in 2 days.
Didn't work out that way. Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't work out quite that way.
So, but they did get things like Rocky, Silence of the Lambs, Thelma and Louise, as the back catalog stuff, as well as modern properties. Now, one of the things that I found interesting was, and this is only because I kind of follow this franchise, is MGM also owns the rights to the Stargate franchise. And there's been rumors for almost 2 years now that there was going to be a new Stargate series. and that was from the creator and producer of Stargate. He said that he was actually working and was collaborating with MGM on a new tale, a continuation, not a reboot, not a flashback, but a continuation of the Stargate saga. And he said at first it was put on hold because of COVID, and then it was put on hold because of the pending sale, because who wants to invest money on something if you're going to get bought out, right?
Fair point.
With Amazon buying them, it brings up the interesting idea that the next Stargate may be an Amazon Prime Video exclusive, which we know Amazon is dumping a ton of money into their online streaming platform because they're trying to, rival Netflix and Hulu and all those other guys, because they're really trying to bulk up their original content.
And part of that,
could also be
what's that?
Sorry, Mike, go ahead. I said it could also be IMDb.
Could be.
So, part of that was what I tied in, that one of the shows that if they're trying to cut Hulu off at the knees, they could take The Handmaid's Tale, which is won awards, what is it, Emmys? Right?
Well,
yeah.
So that would be under contract to
that.
Hulu, so they couldn't just take it away.
Yeah, but we don't know for how long. So it could be once it reaches the end of that contract. Like, let's say it's contracted for another season. The end of that season.
Yeah. Usually they have, when you're talking a series like that, the original network has right of first refusal.
First right of refusal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also remember, it's very common for studios to make shows that are actually broadcast on other networks. So Universal makes shows on CBS and Fox, and Disney makes almost all the shows on Fox, and etc.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Last Man Standing was made by Fox, was on ABC, and when it got canceled, they brought it back to Fox. So it's possible. I mean, could they sandbag for a season so that viewership goes down and they decide, oh, well, Hulu doesn't want it anymore? I mean, there's a lot of games that could be played here. But it does kind of shape, because I have to be very careful about this topic.
Yeah.
Just saying it. I don't want to talk about the whole Warner Media Discovery merger because I work for AT&T, so that I don't want to say anything that could be misconstrued as inside information or any of that stuff. But the streaming landscape is definitely, at first it seemed like everyone was creating their own streaming platform. But now it seems we're coming back to a point where for a while you only had the big three networks on broadcast TV. And then on like cable, you had a handful of networks. So everybody had their own streaming. Now it seems like they're all starting to consolidate again. I mean, what was old is new again, right? Yeah, even you look at the phone company, all right? You had the Bell system and you had AT&T for long distance. Broke it up. And guess what? Everybody started merging again. So, I don't know, man. We're at a point where
I don't see them merging again. I mean, I think right now you have ABC, CBS, and NBC have all broken off into their own new streaming platforms.
Well, I agree with that, but I think the problem is the market was kind of flooded, or the landscape was flooded. You had way too many choices, and we joked about this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about everybody was complaining. Oh, yeah, I only want to pay for the channels that I watch, and I don't want to pay for everything else. Well, guess what? Now you can, because you have to subscribe to all the individual streaming services, but that bill is costing you as much as it did when you had basic cable and got all of them together. Mm-hmm. So at some point, the landscape has got to change, because there's not a single service. Like, people are not going to subscribe to every single channel for one show. And I think that's where these mergers and what have you. Amazon buying MGM is not really a merger. That's buying content, because MGM really didn't have their own streaming. So this is equivalent of like Comcast buying Universal, right? Yeah. And I guess you could say it was the equivalent of AT&T buying Warner Media originally, because you had the provider buying content to build up their library.
Yeah, so that's the part that isn't really making much sense, and I think we're just going to have to bypass that, because you do have we had Comcast buying Universal originally to make sure they had content. So now you have AT&T who bought content getting rid of it, and so you look at it going, okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, and we're not going to get into that. I think the question is coming up, Mike, of how much longer are the over-the-top TV services going to last? Things like YouTube TV, that's what I use, and some of those other ones. It's like, as more of those, why do I continue to pay for YouTube TV? Why don't I just have Peacock, Paramount, Hulu, Disney Plus?
So you're kind of right, because YouTube TV does not have a huge exclusive library, correct?
They have no library. YouTube TV is just it's just TV.
Okay, so I guess I'm thinking back to like YouTube Red, where they Cobra Kai was originally one of their original. So that's gone.
YouTube Premium. That's just YouTube with no ads now.
Okay, so all right. I mean, I agree with that point. That maybe the way we call it is over the top is probably the best way to put it. I was going to call them a consolidator. Like, they take everybody else's programming and just kind of bundle it for you.
They call it OTT over the top.
Yeah. I agree.
If you get rid of that traditional TV and everything is coming through the streaming services, then you no longer have the, you're now paying as much as you used to for TV if you pay for all the services, but now it's all on demand with no ads.
True.
Okay, Discovery Plus versus standard Discovery is not even close anymore. There's so much stuff that shows up in Discovery Plus before it ever shows up on the live network.
But that also depends on your target audience. Like, me personally, I don't give a rat's ass what Chip and Joanna are doing this week in the house in Podunk, Texas. So I don't care what she cooked for dinner. But I don't care anything about Chip and Joanna. So that's not a big selling point for me.
How are you going to keep up on the latest trends in shiplap, though?
It's simple. Chip, listen, you want to do a drinking game? Go ahead, put Chip and Joanna any one of their channels on. And every time they mention shiplap, do a shot. You won't last 3 episodes. Might as well watch Cake Boss and do the same thing with fondant. Okay.
Go ahead, wrap up, and then I want to talk about a new a TV that I want to buy.
Okay.
Well, no. Go ahead.
I just want to say, if you look at what Disney did, Disney has Disney Plus, which is all their family content, and they have Hulu, which is all of their PG-13 and above content. Okay. And so,
and they have
Media
ESPN Plus
without
also,
you,
right?
What's was that?
ESPN Plus.
Yeah,
They have
ESPN
ESPN Plus.
There's
Also,
three things. So you look at what's going to happen now. Just me saying it without you saying it, Mike, because I have no inside knowledge. But so Discovery is going to be combined in with Warner Media, which includes HBO Max. So what does that mean? So maybe they do the same thing. So Discovery Plus grows to be all of their PG and below content, and a lot of that children's stuff gets transferred from HBO Max over to Discovery Plus. HBO Max picks up everything that's PG-13 and above, and now you're seeing, this. You're stratifying based off of this is only for the adults and this is for the family.
And I can say, Disney's model is not it's actually pretty ideal, because even their pricing structure, if it's not unreasonable compared, if you get the one service, like I only have Disney Plus right now because I also have DirecTV still. But for me to get the full bundle would not have been a huge leap in cost. So if you bundle them together at a discount, it's reasonable. But I like the way that they break it out. Like you said, I guess you could say by rating, by age bracket, by demographic, however. But it's an ideal structure, and I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with all that wonderful content, you need somewhere to show it. All right, you're not gonna show it on your 12-inch black and white TV. All right, that's just not gonna happen.
They still make that?
TCL came out with a new television that I think one of us should buy. All right, because I'm sure we have a blank wall somewhere that just aches to be filled. All right, now I don't know what the mounting system is for this TV. I can't imagine what the Visa mount would be for this. But TCL came out with an 85-inch Class 4 Series 4K UHD HDR Smart Roku TV. That's 85 inches of television.
Okay. For $1,600.
$1,600.
Or a full featured with Dolby Vision and VRR. What's VRR? Virtual reality ready?
Probably.
Okay, for $3,000. So $1,600 for an 85-inch TV.
Yes.
For half that, you could get a 4K projector and commercially prep your wall and have twice the size.
No, you could not get a projector that would give you the same pixel density and brightness for that price.
Okay.
Not for $1,600.
No, but you know what? For half that, I could get close enough and still have $800 that I wouldn't care.
No, you couldn't. You could not match the
because
blacks.
I could buy enough booze to make me see the blacks better.
$1,600. Just think about it. 5 years ago, okay, 5 years ago,
that part, yeah,
okay. A 42-inch would have cost you this much. All right, now it's an 85-inch television, a whole wall. This is almost life size. For those people who like sports, I'm not one. This is almost life size. This is like being on the sidelines if you're watching a football game. Okay? And this is 4K. UHD, HDR. It doesn't get better than this. You just need a high quality signal going into it to make sure you get the most out of it.
So, I wonder how Dirt 4 would look on this.
I think it would look awesome. That would be amazing. Actually, what you need is one of those wide, curved screens.
Well, here's the problem.
Yeah, that's why I have my computer here. That's why I look at it over here.
So here's the problem: getting a video card
to drive
to support that kind of resolution, you can't.
Well, it's just 4K.
Okay, well,
The video
listen,
card's going to cost
the
you twice as much as the TV right now.
The $1,400 you save on the full featured, yeah, forget it. You're meeting some dude. You're meeting Shecky behind the Best Buy. Like, hey man, you want a GT 600 right now? I got one for you. Look it up. Okay.
There are people buying computers from iBuyPower and CyberPower, those other places, just for the video card. The video, because the computers themselves, they don't care about them. The computer comes in, they open it up, they pull the video card, throw out the computer.
Chuck the rest of the computer.
Yeah.
I want the lowest spec computer with the highest spec video card. What? I'll take an I want an i3 with a 3080 Ti, please.
I was looking to possibly, again, thanks, Shaggy. I was looking to upgrade my 1050 Ti, and I was like, oh, hell no.
I know. I was so happy I ended up getting a 1070 Ti like 2 years ago.
Like, I'm thinking, gasp, I may have to go Radeon. Oh, my God.
Radeon's expensive, too. I hate to break it to you.
Well, yeah, but at least you can find them.
Yeah. But I told my wife, I'm like, hey, can we buy a new TV? She's like, I don't know why. I'm like, because they got an 85-inch for $1,600.
So we have a 50-inch in our living room, and it's starting to get the bars, right? So,
oh, yeah. Talk to Kim.
Granted, this thing, well, listen, I already have, because this thing is on from, I'm going to say, at least 14 hours a day straight. All right, this is basically like, it's as bad as a demo at Best Buy, for God's sakes. Because we put it on in the morning, and we leave it on for the dogs all day.
Oh, it's a dog TV.
And it goes off at night. So I don't feel bad about it. It's probably like 6 years old, 7 years old. So I don't feel bad that it's starting to show that kind of wear after that kind of abuse. Hell yeah, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at it,
the dogs deserve an 85-inch.
They don't know. They do not. Maybe a 55-inch.
They see a dog their size.
The 55-inch is half the price of what I paid for this 50-inch 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Surprised it's that much. You know?
Well, if I went like for like, because it's a Samsung 5 series, I think. So, not the base, but not the top of the line, like mid pack.
Oh yeah.
So, like for like. But if we walk through BJ's with all the demo TVs, it's like, oh, freaking hell. Some of them, man, listen, Vizio's looking better and better at this point. Samsung's still killer. LGs look beautiful, but I still have the LG ban in my house. No LG products in this house, period. End of discussion. Or if you live in Jersey, period, full stop.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the Vizios are looking good, man.
Yeah,
Insignias even are looking good. Jesus, they all look good.
Well, if it's just for the dogs, who cares?
Christmas. No, Christmas is going to be, because it's kind of for me too, but I'm going to wait.
We have a Toshiba, which is a
we have a Toshiba in the bedroom
TV.
too.
It's built-in Fire TV.
Yeah. All right. We probably need to get to the article which we named the show after before we get into our movie reviews here in a second.
That'd be a good idea.
So we've talked about shortage before. First there was a toilet paper shortage. Then there was a ketchup shortage. Now it's worse. Mike, you reported this first. What's the next shortage that's going to befall the nation?
Folks, if you are a fan of Chick-fil-A, you're going to be a problem, because the Chick-fil-A sauces they're going to be a shortage on those now. Folks, you are not going to be able to get... Listen, it's so bad, McDonald's is breaking out the stash of Szechuan sauce, okay? Chick-fil-A sauce, which I don't. I am not. Let me just say, I'm not a fan of Chick-fil-A because the primary ingredient in their food is MSG, and MSG and me do not get along too well. But apparently, you can buy their sauces in 8-ounce containers to take home, and one of them is actually called the Chick-fil-A sauce. Well, the Chick-fil-A sauce is now going to be, there's a shortage on their special sauce. It's limiting the number of sauce packets. Finally, Chick-fil-A has said, hey, wait a minute. They're limiting the number of sauce packets that you can be given. So all the people that had that drawer in the kitchen,
Oh yeah,
that all
Sauce,
the extra, like
the packet drawer.
Usually it winds up full of like soy sauce and duck sauce and all those packets, because Chinese food places, at least around here, there ain't no shortage of sauce.
No,
because my Chinese food order this past week was insulated on the inside of the paper bag by a layer of sauce packets.
Yeah. And occasionally you'll end up with quite a few, like Arby's horseradish sauce or, just Arby's sauce. Some no-name ketchup sauce. No-name ketchup packets, like Fancy's ketchup.
Yes.
If it's Heinz, you're using it. Or, but if it's, Joe's ketchup, no, it's going in the drawer for emergency purposes only.
Well, listen, no, I would if one of my fast food or one of my food orders came with Joe's ketchup packets, I would try one just to see what the hell was up. And I'd be mad if I liked it, because I'd be like, it's the best ketchup I've ever taken. We're gonna get Joe's ketchup. Oh my God! Don't type that into Google. Joe's ketchup. Mm-mm.
And then every once in a while, you get that package of jelly, and that is like gold. Jelly or honey. That's gold in the package drawer.
Never got honey, but we've got.
Oh, from KFC? You never asked for honey with your biscuits?
I don't go to KFC.
Oh,
I go to Chicken Galore, man.
Well, we don't have Chicken Galore. We have KFC. And after you have put up with their terrible service, you deserve a packet of honey.
Okay, well, no, that's fair. That's fair.
They should really just tell you at KFC, if you complain, they said, well, you should have gone to Popeyes then, because at least we have Popeyes too.
No, Popeyes is not good chicken. KFC is better chicken. We used to have Browns. Browns was great chicken, but Browns went out of business.
We got Cheeks chicken and waffles.
Oh, okay, we're going there. We're
Church's chicken. Church's fried chicken too.
Church's chicken's good. I've had Church's chicken. It's good.
We had a Church's in here about 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But nope, the package.
We got the local chicken place. Like, what's Chicken Galore's motto? If there was a better piece of chicken, the rooster got it.
Okay.
Right on their menu.
Well, the best chicken we have locally is something that's actually kind of it's like a chain that the different restaurants can get. It's called broasted chicken.
Yeah,
broasted
that's not fried chicken though. So, it's not the same.
It's breaded.
Yeah, but it's not the same. All right. So anyway, but yes, Chick-fil-A sauce limited. So if you need some, get some.
I just told my wife we're talking Chicken Galore right now, because this is her favorite chicken in the entire world. Her mom used to come down from Maine, and she would stop on the way to Kim's house to pick up the Chinese food that Kim ordered when her mom hit the New Jersey border.
Mm-hmm.
And the next night was Chicken Galore.
Yeah. See,
and they got more than just chicken. Like you get the ribs, You get the freedom fries, you get the fried mushrooms, you get the fried cauliflower, you get the fried broccoli, so you can feel healthy because it's vegetables, even though it's deep fried. Fried clam strips, everything fried, in case you haven't noticed. And then for dessert, you get the big old
Fried.
No, you get the big old the Chinese food soup container of chocolate pudding.
Ah. See, Browns, when they were here, my dad used to love them because they had livers and gizzards.
That's just disgusting as hell.
That's what-
I got no other reaction for that.
That's what he liked. But I liked them because they had fried mushrooms. Oh, good fried mushrooms.
Well, we can do fried mushrooms. We can definitely do fried mushrooms.
So, all right. So it is that time.
I will make sure that chicken galore is on the menu when the meetup happens in Jersey eventually.
Eventually. All right. So it is time now to do our double feature movie review. It is a segment we do every show where we take two movies recommended to us by YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, you name it. And, this whole thing was basically an idea of what would happen if you actually did watch the movies that were recommended to you, and then we decided we would do a real movie review on them and rank them from puke to shnikes. Shnikes being the best, puke being the worst. So you will get our opinion on the movie, and it'll tell you whether it is a good watch or a bad watch, something you should waste your time on or not. So this week we have Yes Day from Netflix and Turkey Bowl from Amazon Prime. So, Mike, which one are we going with first?
Well, we might as well go in alphabetical order, and let's do the Turkey Bowl.
Turkey Bowl first. Colin, you're up first. Take it away.
Okay. Disclaimer. I'm not sure I can give this one an official score. We only watched about half of it and decided that we had better things to do than finish watching it. I can say, so several weeks ago we watched a Robin Williams movie, which apparently was one of Mike's movies that he really liked, which had a man who tricked his entire town into replaying a high school football game. This movie is an entire town tricking a single man to replay a high school game. Here's the problem I have with this movie. So this movie is that trope of man has a life and realizes that that life he has is not the life he wants. He wants to go back and have the life he did have before, which is go back to this podunk town full of absolutely stupid morons who do not have a single brain to exist between them. And so he decides in the end to give up his life where he's extremely successful, has a soon-to-be fiance who I think at the beginning of the movie they were trying to set her up as being shallow, but mostly I was looking at what she said and going, that sounded a perfectly reasonable response that a reasonable person would say. So I just was watching this movie going, I went to Wikipedia and read ahead to see, is this going to be what I think it is? And I was like, yeah, the plot. Yeah, this is the plot. And I was like, no, I'm going to go watch the other movie instead. No. To me, at least, I'm going to give it an unofficial. I'm not going to give it a puke. Close, whatever. Puke plus 1 is my unofficial score, but like I said, I did not actually finish the movie.
Okay, so I think that's verb.
I would agree. That is a verb.
Okay, Mike, you're up next.
Okay. So, Turkey Bowl starts off with a guy getting a phone call about best friend dying, or his best friend from back in the day dying. Right off the bat, I'm betting a nickel that Mitchell didn't die. Boom. Give me a nickel. I'm a half hour into this, and I swear to God, this is literally a dollar store version of The Best of Times, which I freaking called when this movie came up during the random number pick last show. 45 minutes into this movie. You know this is not a good sign. Anybody who has listened to us do these reviews before knows that if I'm giving you time cues, not a good sign. 45 minutes in it, and I am searching my desk for that rusty pocket knife that I was restoring so I could stab my freaking eyes out. We're an hour in. This team's starting to look a little better. We see where 90% of this movie's budget went to, and that's licensing for the Smash Mouth super hit All-Star. I'm going to be straight up here. There was not a single thing about this movie that I liked. None of the characters were interesting. The story was recycled and pieced together from a ton of previous movies, and the acting was mediocre at best. So puke the shnikes, this is also getting a verb from me. Unless you've got a serious thing for one of the actors and actresses listed in the credits of this movie, do not even bother.
Okay. Boy, some tough sledding. All right, my turn. All right, so this was a movie that I barely fit in today, but I finally fit it in. First of all, yes, it is a played out trope, but I didn't bring it along the same lines as you guys. I brought it along the same lines as Sweet Home Alabama, but with a gender swap. Because my wife loves that movie, so I've seen it a million times. So yes, it is a guy who is doing well, comes back to trashy hometown that he's ashamed of, basically. There were a couple of points in this movie where you can expect I really enjoyed it, simply because it was my kind of humor. All right, I'll be honest, I didn't see the guy still being alive. I actually thought it was going to go the way of whatever in the hell it was.
Replicate
Without a paddle. I thought it was going to be, one of those where it invigorates him to do something fun. But no. And then I thought, damn it, I know that dad from somewhere. Where the hell do I know that dad from? The main character's father. Couldn't place it until just now. He was the jerk quarterback in The Replacements. He was also the dad in Ghost Rider. So, turns out he plays a jerk in a lot of movies. So, he was right there.
He was also the dad in the remake of Red Dawn.
I didn't watch the remake of Red Dawn, so I didn't know that.
Well, that's your own damn fault because it left Prime. Go ahead.
He was also in Capcom. He was Capcom 1 in Apollo 13, but he looked different there. He was more clean cut. So anyway, now where you guys didn't like this movie, didn't like the story because it was old and drawn out and everything, I found humor in it. Yes, it's overplayed. Yes, it's over the top. Yes, it's, the story, the writing, etc. isn't there. I would make this movie about the same as like Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj, as far as its depth, all right? This is not a very deep philosophical movie. This is just a movie to laugh at and have fun with. Don't take it too seriously. There is a lot of stupidity in this movie. But I did not hate it, all right? I, on the other hand, am going to end up giving this movie, especially with the senile old coach scenes, which to me just made me chuckle. I am going to give this movie a smile and be different than everybody else.
All right, hold on a minute. Let me... I don't want to make an assumption, so that's why I'm asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play any sports, organized sports in high school, college?
I won't count my time on the golf team as organized since I never played a single game other than practice.
Okay. and refresh my memory. It was a weather event that caused them not to finish the game, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So as a competitive athlete from when I was in high school and from that era, the entire premise of this movie is bullshit.
Yes.
At least the best of times, they lost the game, they want to replay the game. Mm-hmm. Okay. There was finality. Here, the game got snowed out. No. That doesn't happen. They postpone it, they call it official, whatever. They don't just end it and never come back to it with it. No. They do not do that. So right off the bat, the entire premise of this movie is bullshit.
Jason Bateman
This is as bad as Red Matter, for Christ's sake. This is stupid.
Jason Bateman isn't really a werewolf, but he was in Teen Wolf 2.
Teen Wolf 2 was an abomination that should never be spoken of again by anyone on the face of this planet. And the only reason they made him a boxer was because then they only had to buy shorts and a tank top for a bunch of people, not a bunch of football uniforms.
Mike, I'll tell you, this movie made me feel better about that Best of Times movie. Because it at least made sense. They lost the game. They didn't go anywhere. Their life was terrible. And at least there was a reason for it. This one, they're just a bunch of morons, and they decided to ruin his life just because they were making a movie. I'll tell you the point where we stopped watching the movie. It was the point of the movie where they thought it was funny to get a little kid completely drunk.
Not they. Just one guy said he spiked the adult punch bowl.
The people who made the movie.
They just made a little girl pass out.
The plot point was stupid.
It wasn't a plot point. It was a side gag.
Okay, listen. No, listen. Okay.
Who doesn't like an 8-year-old passed out?
The quarterback. Okay, the quarterback played Candy Andy in Two Broke Girls for a couple of seasons, so he had a career. He was the husband in Bad Santa 2. He was Christina Hendricks' husband, so he kind of had a career. The dude that faked his death was not only the father of the children in the show Mom, but he played Badger in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody in this film who had a speaking part had some kind of career. What the hell was this movie? There's no reason this movie should have been made. The only bigger insult here was if you told me it was funded by a Kickstarter.
Well, don't forget, he was also in NCIS for about 4 years.
Who?
The guy who played Matt Jones. The guy who faked his death.
That was a side character.
Was he?
He was in
a
it.
full-time character. He just showed up a couple times.
Okay,
But
well,
he was
in
in occasional. He wasn't
six times over 4 years.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the...
Okay, the next one is Yes Day.
Yes Day.
Yes Day. A family comedy, I will call it. Colin, you're up first again.
Yes, so this is definitely the cleanest movie we've watched in a long time. Standard family movie where, parents and kids aren't getting along, and they come up with a scenario. In this case, it's a pretty simple scenario of creating a yes day where the parents are saying no all the time. They're in this rut basically of saying no to everything the kids want to do. So they get a yes day that they have to earn, where the kids they have a budget. They can't do anything that's not safe, which the movie kind of violates a couple times. But okay. In the end, I'm not spoiling anything to say. In the end, some of the relationships are fixed, and people were. I won't say everything is hunky-dory and everything's fixed at the end, but enough is fixed that you feel pretty good about the family. It's a simple movie. If you're wanting something to watch as a family, you could definitely do much worse. I'm going to. It's not amazing. It's not Shnikes, but I'll give it a big smile.
All right. And Mike, you're next.
Okay. All right. Okay, I didn't mute myself. Okay. Full-on admission here. Jennifer Garner has been my celebrity crush since Alias. I love the fact that this guy is driving a Prius, rocking out to Faith No More, and that his toddler daughter is singing right along. Love it. In the first 10 minutes, I don't have kids. I made that clear many, many times before. But in the first 10 minutes, I've learned a valuable lesson that kids should never get any electronics, ever. And if they do have them, everything needs to be stored on a cloud drive so that you can just access it and delete it when you feel it's necessary. These are all kids that are going to wind up standing there recording things with their cell phone instead of helping the man that's dying on the ground. So there's a scene where they're doing the Yes Day and they go to the ice cream parlor. Shaggy, can you please put us back to 4-screen quads here for a second?
Yep.
Because I want to see the looks on your faces here, gentlemen. As the second course for the New Jersey trip, or the course when we're out in Illinois, one of the meals, if we found a place that had such an ice cream challenge of 1 hour and we have to eat every single thing on the plate, do you think that the three of us could complete that challenge?
Without a question. There actually is a breakfast place here where they serve you pancakes the size of pizzas. And if you can eat all 3 of them, your meal's free and you get a T-shirt.
And that's per person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely per person.
That's a lot of pancakes. Okay, you can go back. Thank you. And then they have this water balloon thing, this water balloon fight thing, which is kind of like paintball, but instead of a paintball gun, you're throwing water balloons, and it's kind of confusing to me at first because it seems like people are getting hit and getting sprayed, and I don't know who's actually out and who's not. So I do kind of feel like we should do this at the host retreat next year, but I don't know because fledgling, leave them on the ground unless they're in imminent danger from, like, I don't know, a cat. So this is another movie where I actually sat and I enjoyed it instead of trying to nitpick and pull it apart. So, and I'm going to agree, this is probably the best family movie that we have reviewed and watched in quite a long time. Because of my love for Jennifer Garner, I'm going to have to give this one up from a smile, which is a big old belly laugh from me. But now, I'd like to do you can go back to Foursquare for us. I'd like to do a little get to know your host questions, and this is a simple yes or no, because based off of some of the things that happened in Yes Day. Roller coasters, yes or no? Colin?
Used to. If I could still fit, then yes.
Okay. Shaggy?
Sure.
Okay. Looping roller coasters?
Colin? Any coaster.
Yep, sure.
Any coaster. Okay. Teacups?
I'm cool.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah.
Okay. HER concerts?
Fun to people watch. Don't know how much I'd enjoy it personally, other than looking at all the drugged out wackadoos.
Okay. Colin?
Oh, Colin at a rave would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I want to send him.
And the last one
I want to send him in a pink T-shirt and like green hair with like some lights around him.
Can I say? I'd be more happier probably going to an HER concert than going to HER trying to act.
Okay, her acting was not all that. And finally, foam party.
Foam party. Oh boy, there's a lot of cleanup involved there, but I'm up for it. What the hell?
Well,
as long as there's booze.
Yeah, not at our house. Just we were going to attend a foam party.
Yeah.
All right. What about foam party at an HER concert?
Okay. I'm pretty easy.
Okay.
As long as I don't have to clean it up, I'm up for a lot of fun. All right. So yeah, I guess I go next.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oops. Wrong.
No, not me.
No, I want you to go next. You go again. No, I'll go. All right. All right. So yesterday, my wife and I watched this, and she stayed awake the whole time. So that's a good note right away. It is a good family movie, right? But I couldn't help. She goes, "Who is that mom? We know that woman. Who is she?" So I had to look it up because I could not get the name to come into my head. I'm like, I know who's. I'm like, she was Electra. She was. I'm like, I kept naming. I'm like, she was in Butter. I'm like, who the hell is she? And so I finally go, oh, she's Jennifer Garner. Okay. I'm like, yeah, that's who she is. But yeah. But then I couldn't not stop thinking about her as the woman from Butter. All right. I don't know why, but I couldn't. But it's a nice show. It is good. It's clean. It's family fun. To some degree, it's a little transparent as to what's going to happen. I want to know how this guy, how Mr. Deacon, who is not only the counselor, but the coach and, all these other things, how does he have time to take off to also be the referee and to go to this rave? And, does he not have a life or what? I don't know what the deal is there. Jean, the paramedic, just seems like she's a ball of fun, and her cohort is just a killjoy. I really liked her in this movie, just going crazy. Arturo Castro, where the hell do I know him from? He's the guy who played the stupid officer who let the kids leave. I really swear it's like that guy where you know him from something, but you don't know where you know him from. So I know he was in other stuff that we've probably watched before, but I think he's just that one character that's always a sideline character. So anyway, good movie, good clean movie. It's only about an hour and a half long, so it's a quick watch. You don't have to worry about language here. Decent fight scenes if you're into that kind of stuff. And it was just, it was a good family movie. So I'm gonna give this a belly laugh as well, along with Mike. I think this is a good movie. And, if you got kids that are like 12 and over, I think this is probably a good one for them to watch as well.
We can actually just make that score across the board.
Okay. Score across the board.
Keeping track of all the different scores are up there.
My biggest concern with letting kids watch this is they're going to get the idea that
oh yeah,
it raises the bar. That's all I'm kind of saying.
Preface it by saying, "Ain't no way in hell we're doing this." So
this is a good movie for grandparents to watch with their grandkids, and then send them back home.
Mama Blair points out, and she's talking about Turkey Bowl. About showing a child get drunk. Yeah, I mean, look, there's certain things in a comedy, right? There are certain movies that you kind of expect bad things to happen, right? Like
Van Wilder.
No, I'm thinking more dramatic, more horrific. Like what was it? Witness, the Jodie Foster movie, right? Uh-huh. Was that Witness? I think where some bad things are going to happen there. But anyway,
yeah.
All right, so
Question: Did either of you watch that half-hour-long YouTube video that I
No, I have
asked you to
not.
watch?
I have not yet.
Oh, yes, I did. And it was, I like the premise. I mean, I'm not, very well, I'm not like I don't follow a lot of the YouTube videos or like the channels and stuff like that. I completely like the idea of a non-playable character in an adventure suddenly becoming the main character. Like the way they played it out, I thought it was very well acted, very well written, and I kept watching like, I know these people from somewhere. Where the hell do I know them from?
Oh, they show up lots of videos.
Yeah, well, like the one guy I thought was actually an actor that I've seen in other movies.
One of them is an actor who, but I'm not sure how much he's ever shown up in any U.S. movies that I know of. But yeah.
Well, I was actually thinking he was the one father in Babysitter 2 for some reason. I don't know why. The one that was all paranoid about his car. But
yeah, I don't know.
I next show, Shaggy.
I'll make sure to watch it
next show.
before
We'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll rewatch it as well.
It's a good example of how something that was funded by something like Kickstarter and whatever can be good, and it's just it's the standard that if you can't reach at least this, which is basically 3 guys in New Zealand, if you can't reach this amount of quality, then just give up.
Yeah.
Or Iron Sky 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so people know, we have picked out the movies for the next show, which will be next week. It will be Monday.
Yes, we'll be back on schedule.
Yep, we'll be back on schedule, and the movies for next show are, as soon as the sheet comes up here, it is...
So on Netflix, it is Mr. Right, starring Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick.
Yep. And then
and on YouTube...
It's a show called Making Babies.
YouTube video, God.
Yep.
God.
Well, it's only an hour and 26 minutes. Call it starring Eliza Coupe and Steve Howie.
Steve Howie, possibly best known as the son-in-law on Reba.
And Ed Begley Jr. is also in it.
Which I watched it. Ed Begley Jr. is perhaps the most unnerving, disturbing part of my cinematic experience with this movie.
Okay.
Which just is a testimony to how good of an actor Ed Begley Jr. is.
All right. Well, that's what we have to look forward to for the next show. So, anything else we need to cover before we sign off for the night?
Nope. See y'all next week.
I don't think so.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, you can check out the show. PTRradio.com is the website. You can also follow us on social media at PTR Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Don't forget to tell all your friends about us. That's the only way that we get any, advertising or we grow our audience is by you spreading the word about the show. As you can tell by tonight's topics, we talk about a little bit of everything. So if you want to get in touch with the show, just send us a message on social media. Maybe it'll be something that'll make its way onto the white sheet and we'll totally ignore it for the next show. Or maybe it'll be talked about. You just never know what's going to, fiddle our fancy. So, until then, everybody just stay safe, stay healthy, and stay sane in today's weird and wacky world. But that's it for this show. Like I said, we'll be back on Monday. That'll be the 7th of June for another 2 hours, another 2 movies, and another couple links and wild tangents. So with that said, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the 8 Man. Rest in peace, Nacho Supreme.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.